Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Saturday Morning Movie Reviews. I'm your host, venomous Vincent. Alongside is my co-host, Dan Skip Allen. What's going on, my friend?
Nothing much, man. Just been working and seeing a lot of movies this week. It's been a busy week.
Every week you stay busy with movies. That is the title of your life. If they made a movie about you, I don't even know if they could make a movie about you because it would be you sitting in the theater half the time.
Well, I mean, I had a lot of life before I started doing this as a full time thing. So there's a lot of life you could tell in a movie about me before I became a film critic. And I mean, I've loved movies my entire life. So I mean, that is true. I have spent a lot of time in a movie theater.
This week we are going to talk about two films in particular. One is coming out. Actually, comes out. It came out last night. Actually, Black Phone 2, which is the sequel to the Blumhouse hit Black Phone, and this one came out last year. And what's crazy is that I thought it came out this year because I saw it. Maybe they were doing a special at my theater for this. I don't know. The Substance. This one's starring Demi Moore and was it Margaret
Qualley,
Qualley?
Margot Qualley, and Dennis Quaid.
That's right, Dennis Quaid's in it. But let's talk about Black Phone 2, man, because I did not get to see that. I know you saw that. I was supposed to go see it, but I had a lot of things come up this week. I had a dear friend of mine passed away this week. Used to work with me a long, long time ago. One of my managers at Las Patas. So I really haven't been myself this week, and it's just it is hard, man. When you work with somebody for so long and you guys share meals and stories, and you laugh together and you cry together, and and it's hard to focus when something like that happens in your life. And I know you know about this because you just lost somebody very dear and near to you.
Two people, my father and my like a sister to me, and my buddy's grandmother. She was like a grandmother to me. So I've been to three funerals in the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's never good to go to a funeral. That's just it's not something you want to do. But let's talk about Black Phone 2, man.
Yeah, well, Black Phone 2 picks up a few years after Black Phone. The characters of Gwen and Finney are a little bit older. They live with their father, but Gwen is hearing things in her head. She's starting to kind of have like dreams where she's like sleepwalking and she's talking to her mother, and her mother is at this camp, this old summer camp. And then Finney, he's getting phone calls, and he just goes up to the phone and says, "I can't help you." But he's also getting in a lot of fights at school. This is starting to lead towards them investigating something, and then they end up going to this summer camp where their mother spent a lot of time years before, and they realize there's another mystery involved, and there's a phone, a black phone, and that's how they communicate with various people and whatnot. And it's adjacent to a lake, and it's really cold. It's got Damian Bashir as the head of the camp and so forth. And they're trying to put it.
Phone.
Yeah, this character you hear on the right, that is Ethan Hawke. He's the grabber. As everybody knows, he died at the end of the last Black Phone movie. So you say, well, how can the grabber be in here? Well, I don't want to spoil how the grabber comes back in this movie. I want people to go out and see the movie. But yeah, the grabber is still Ethan Hawke, and he's back in a different form, in a different way. But there's still a murder mystery to unfold here, and Finney and Gwen have to figure out how to unfold this mystery with the grabber still threatening them in a way.
Yeah, it does look interesting, man. The last one, I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't. The last one, it took me a while to really understand it. And the last one took place where the guy was in the basement, right?
Yeah, Finney was kidnapped. Him and about 4 other kids or 5 other kids were kidnapped and brought into this basement. And 3 of the other kids or whatever were killed. But somehow their ghosts were able to communicate with Finney in that basement through a black phone on the wall. And Ethan Hawke's grabber kept on saying, that phone don't work. Stop talking on that phone. But it was the kidnapped kids that he had killed was given Finney directions on how to get out of the house and how to get past the grabber and the grabber's big dog and the brother that's upstairs. And there's a whole mystery involved with that. But then, so you say, how does a grabber come back? It's interesting how he comes back, but I don't want to spoil it here because I want people to go see the movie and see for themselves. And then, they can comment or whatever and say, oh, okay, I understand. Yeah, that's a spoiler if you would have said that, or whatever. I don't want to give a bunch of spoilers just of the story.
There's a couple of things I want to add to this. They filmed this movie in Toronto, Canada, which I did see the trailer. And, I don't know if you can, per se, pick out scenes that are shot in Canada, but I feel like a lot of things are being shot in Canada in the last couple of years that I feel like it's getting to, if people pay attention, they can see where things are shot at, and not everybody pays attention to that. I mean, like for me, there are certain things and aspects in movies that I look for. So do you, but I did pick out a couple scenes in the trailer that I did see. It did not look like it was shot around here.
Well, it was also shot in upstate New York too. So those are the 2 places that it was shot, Canada and upstate.
Yeah, but when you look at this,
you couldn't tell.
Well, hold on a minute. You can tell. I'm going to tell you this right now.
Okay.
There is a different lighting in Canada when they shoot at a certain point in time and day. That's different than New York or LA. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I would know right off the bat if it was or not, but for instance, the next movie we're going to talk about, I knew that it wasn't shot in LA. Like, just the way that, I mean, they make it look like it's shot in LA, but it's really, really not. And that's the best thing about filmmaking these days is you don't have to be in a certain place to make it look like that. I mean, let's take Stranger Things for that's shot in Atlanta. But
it takes place in Indiana.
Yeah, it takes place in Indiana. So I mean, people, they do it all the time. But yeah, this does look good. It looks like something that I would want to go see.
It's not a cookie cutter version of the last movie. It's a different story, different aspects. They focus on a different one of the kids, Gwen character, and I like that because it just, like a lot of these sequels, I use Megan. It's like they have no creativity. Like what they did with Megan 2.0, I thought was terrible. And it's like, why make a sequel and come up with such a bad idea? This is actually a really good, smart, thought out idea by Scott Derrickson, who also directed the first Black Phone. So I think people are going to go into it and they're not going to know anything about it because it's something totally different using similar characters, from the first movie, and that's what's really interesting about it, I thought. And the CGI and the visual effects are really fascinating, how they incorporate the dream world and the regular world and stuff like that. The visuals are really interesting.
The next movie I want to talk about, I thought was fantastic. I wish I would have seen this a lot earlier than I did. And sometimes movies like this slip through the crack, but The Substance, This one, man, God, I actually after I saw this movie, I went and watched the behind the scenes of making of this film, and they had a very short budget, and they shot it in France, but how they made things look so realistic, and how they shot things, um, it's amazing. This director, she's a female director,
Carly Farjat.
um, and she did a fantastic job on this. She really did. This she did, Revenge. That's another great movie that she wrote.
Oh yeah, Revenge was so good, so good.
But so she's a newer director. Well, it looks like she has 4 films on her belt, so she's not, she doesn't have a whole lot of credits, but she, as a female, you have to really respect people like her that are trying to step out of the box and compete with, because back in the day, directing, that was a man's job, like there was very very little females that was in that. But now in today's society, there's a lot of jobs that females are like, listen, I can do this as well as a man can.
Yeah, there's a lot of female directors. Obviously, Catherine Bigelow won the Oscar for The Hurt Locker about 15 or 16 years ago, and now she's got a movie out right now. And there's a lot of like Emerald Fennell and so many different directors. I forget who directed Barbie. Was God, I can't think of her name right now. The girl that directed Barbie, she's got a couple good credits under her belt. I just watched The Mastermind, which is directed by Kelly Reichardt. There's so many really good female directors, and you look at if you look at the credits as like cinematographers and composers and all kinds of different jobs, obviously costume designers and makeup people, but yeah, Hollywood's becoming more inclusive, and women are really getting more opportunities in Hollywood than just in front of the camera. They're getting a lot of work behind the camera, stunt people, you know what I mean? And in the John Wick movies and Ballerina, and stuff like that. So it's really great to see Hollywood incorporating more women in the below the line departments, production design, cinematography, costumes, makeup, set design, cinematography, score, stuff like that. And obviously director behind the camera is what I'm trying to say, is that's a major thing, is to getting a lot of jobs for women behind the camera,
Right.
So,
right.
yeah. And The Substance. Yeah. I saw it last year and I was blown away by it. It really gave me vibes of like Hollywood, like actresses trying to look young and trying to look vibrant so they could keep their careers going. A prime example for me is the lady from Top Gun. The romantic interest in Top Gun, she was gorgeous in that movie. Beautiful blonde woman. And then you see her a couple years later, like 2 or 3 years later, in The Accused. Kelly MacDonald, I think it was Kelly MacDonald was her name or something. She looked like she had aged 30 years, Vinny. It was ridiculous how much in 3 years this woman had aged. And so that whole thing about women trying to stay young, whether it's in acting or in business or what kind of jobs it is, it's been going on for decades now. And makeup and all this kind of stuff, they look in the mirror and they say, what can I do to make myself look younger? And they're not happy. Women are just not happy with their looks, and they want to keep trying to find ways to look younger. And it's a major issue in Hollywood, especially if they want to keep roles getting.
Well, you know what I got from this film, which I think really kind of set me off a little bit, was, Dennis Quaid plays the head executive of this company,
TV station.
And there's a lot of good close-ups in this movie of certain things. There's a disgusting close-up of Dennis Quaid eating shrimp, and it's like the camera's like in his mouth, like chewing, and they're ripping the heads off of the shrimp. But
Sound amazing.
But what I think is disgusting about this world is the fact that we see it all the time, like where they want the newest and freshest faces in these companies, and it even happens not even in acting, it happens in like corporate roles. Like,
yeah,
I guarantee it happens in Walmart where it's like, this person's too old, let's get somebody new and fresh in it. But you know what, but on a side note from this whole thing, what really makes me mad is you watch this movie, and then you watch like football, and you watch who our president is, and it's like, here's my question, and I love for someone to truly answer this, and I would really like a professional to truly answer this question for me. If you want the freshest and newest faces on everything, why is it that we let older folks referee basketball and football and baseball and that totally can't see and make bad calls all the time? Why do we let our president, as old as he is, become our leader? Like what is the truth behind this? Because I'm gonna tell you this right now, there's a lot of people that I think at a younger age of between the ages of 26 and 35 that can do the jobs just as good as a guy that's in his 50s. And then you get a guy like our last president, he was like 89, almost 90 years old, and I can't even tell you if he was running the country or if it was his secretary. Like, that's how bad it is, and that's what I think. And I can relay this movie kind of to him a little bit, because we just watched him a couple weeks ago, and what him's about is trying to be the best and to do what these teams want you to be, and to be, you have to put yourself through all this training and tip top shape. And it's the same thing with these actresses, like, those people that are doing aerobic videos and stuff like that, they have to be on strict diets. They have to make sure that, they're in tip top shape. And this movie just shows you that, we see in the beginning of the film where I'm not going to give it away, but there's a lot of hidden gems you really have to just pay attention. But it just, at the end of the movie, this is what you get. This is what you get. And this is crazy to me, because you go and you see this the trailer, and you see these two beautiful girls, Demi Moore, which I can't believe she did almost a whole film naked. Like, that, to me, that blew me away. And then I find out that the other actress, Megan, what's her last name again? Margot Qualley. So they gave her prosthetics to look as good as she was. But then I find out, here, check this out. She had so much prosthetics that it ruined her, and she had to have surgery. I was watching something last night, and they were talking about how she got put through so much stress and so many prosthetics in this film that it ruined her. And I forget what they said, but she had to go undergo surgery to fix some of the things that they did in the movie in her real life.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to correct something I said earlier. It's Kelly McGillis, not McDonald. Kelly McGillis is in Top Gun, and then she's in The Accused. You go watch those two movies back to back. That's a 3-year difference between her in Top Gun and The Accused, and you would think she aged like 30 years in that 3-year span. And that's what Hollywood actresses are going through, and with casting directors and people and producers, they want the young, new, fresh thing. And this movie shows you that it's a tough world out there for women, and they sometimes they'll do questionable things to make themselves look a certain way. And we see what happened in The Substance, that it didn't all turn out to be the right way.
No. And if you go and watch this movie, I highly recommend you go and see the behind the scenes of this on YouTube, because it's pretty amazing, some of the stuff that they did. And what I think was interesting is they shot all the scenes with all the actresses, and then they took a hiatus break, and then they came back and shot all the up close scenes of like the syrups and like the shrimp part and like all the hands and you know and like the frying. All that was done separately on a sound stage. And then even the prosthetics with you know the bodies that they had to make, the molding, and
They won an Oscar, Benny, for that.
it was amazing. It kind of reminded me of like old school Hollywood, where they actually took the time and made these people and these extra bodies,
Monsters, creatures.
yeah.
The Fly. This movie reminded me of The Fly, which I recently watched. I'm going to be
Jeff
doing.
Goldblum.
Yeah. This movie reminded me of The Fly, what Jeff Goldblum goes through in The Fly. That's how good the makeup in The Fly was. It was just like crazy. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like just as good a makeup and prosthetics as Jeff Goldblum had in The Fly. And I'm going to be doing a discussion tomorrow night with a buddy of mine about The Fly. So I was supposed to do it last week, but he canceled on me, but we're going to do it tomorrow night. So, but yeah, I would say this is some of the best prosthetic and makeup work I've seen in years, and up on par with The Fly.
Yeah, this was a fantastic movie. And the crazy part is I when I saw the cover of this film, it didn't appeal to me, and I was like, I always give movies a good 15-20 minutes before I turn it off. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna give it and see if I can get into it. And I'm not gonna say that the first 15 minutes I was actually into it. What really got me through the first half was the fact that, I mean, not only were these two beautiful women, you know, topless and nude the whole first part, but what got me through the first half was the fact that when you see this and you see that, you know, she's not happy with her life and she wants to change it and she wants to find out how she can make a younger of her. I was interested because, I mean, we all want to be the youngest of ourselves. We always want to fix ourselves and make us look 20 years younger. But here's the question: how far will you go to make yourself? Will you do exactly what Demi Moore did in this film and start taking shots, and morph as a second human?
Mm. Yeah, that scene where she was supposed to go on the date with that guy from her high school, they're reuniting years later, and she looks in the mirror and she just can't get her makeup right, and she changes her makeup, then her faces, and it just tells you that this is just a microcosm of what women go through on a daily basis to get up and go to work, or to go anywhere or whatever. You know, they in Hollywood, it's like triple fold, you know, what women have to try to go through to look a certain way in Hollywood. And that I honestly thought Demi Moore was going to win an Oscar last year for that, and she ended up losing to Mikey Madison for Honora, but I thought it was her here. I really did. It was the first ever Oscar nomination for Demi Moore. She was fantastic in that movie. She really was.
I watched a couple episodes with Margaret,
Really?
and she's very awkward. She's very there's a clip online of her on Jimmy Fallon a couple years ago, and there was a bunch of people asking if she was high or on substance then, because she asked Jimmy Fallon to play Truth or Dare with her. And on live TV, she asked Jimmy Fallon, how many women have you slept with? So, I mean, and then on top of that, she gets Jimmy Fallon to do the interview laying on top of his desk. So, I mean, it's just, and then like you go and watch her like I'm not trying to talk bad about her. I just you watch this movie and then you when you watch a movie and then you see somebody act, like sometimes you want to see how that person is in real life. And then you get interested in watching it. So then you want to see an interview and behind the scenes and I've watched so many since I've watched this movie that um it blows my mind how somebody can be so night and day in a film and be nothing like that in real life.
It just tells you what a good actress she is, because she's changing the way her normal personality is to play that character. She was so confident in the movie, and she is a little bit awkward in real life. And I've seen her in other movies. Movie back in August, and I just for the life, Honey Don't came out in August, and she plays like a detective in California in like the 1970s or 80s or whatever. And she's completely different from her character in The Substance. So it just shows you how good of an actor she is. She's able to morph into whatever character she's playing.
Right. Well, my friend, I know there's another one you saw. I don't want to get into it too much, but it sounded interesting. You were telling me about it before we even got on the air about, and it actually happened here in Apopka.
Yeah. Well, I saw a special friends and family screening of a movie called Christy. It's based on the life of Christy Martin, a female boxer who basically put female boxing on the map. Now it's a thing that we know of and we hear about all the time, female boxing. But this woman put female boxing on the map, and she married her trainer, Jerry Martin, and then moved to Florida, started training in Daytona, and then they lived in Apopka. But this became a big issue because Jerry, she was not necessarily interested in her husband. She was interested in women. And Jerry didn't like that. So he basically tried to kill her. And this is a story that went wide all over Florida and the country about 15 years ago, 2010, and Apopka, where Jerry tried to kill Christy, stabbed her and shot her. And she got out of the house and got down the street, and a guy helped her and took her to the hospital, or she would have been dead of her wounds. And this became a major trial and everything. Sydney Sweeney plays Christy Martin in the movie. Ben Foster plays Jerry Martin. Unrecognizable. You will not recognize Ben Foster in the role of Jerry. He looks totally different than also, there's so, and it just goes from her younger days always up into the present time of her being getting into boxing, getting with Don King as a promoter and all this stuff. It was a really emotional movie, and Sydney Sweeney doesn't even look like Sydney Sweeney with her prosthetics and the makeup they give her, and she has to gain a little weight or whatever to play Christy Martin. She doesn't even look anything like Christy Martin, but I thought she did a great job playing this character. And I'm hoping for good things for Sydney Sweeney. I know, God forbid, you're talking about Sydney Sweeney. She's canceled, this, that, and the other. I don't care. I don't believe in all that crap. If I like a performance, if I like an actor or an actress or a director, I'm going to talk about them all I want. No one's going to tell me I can or can't talk about somebody. So I'm going to talk about Sydney Sweeney if I like what she's been doing or any performances she's given, and no one's going to tell me any different. So, yeah, Christy, wow, what a story. And you lived in Apopka for a period. And I asked you, I said, Vinny, do you remember this story from Apopka? And he didn't remember this story. It was all over the news.
Oh, well, that is all the time we have for you this week. I want to thank my buddy Skip Dan Allen. Skip, where can they find you at?
You can find me at FromTheFourthRow.com, where I'm the owner, editor-in-chief, and head film creator of From the Fourth Row. I got reviews coming out all over the place, TV shows, movies, Netflix shows. Okay, I got 5 writers. They write for me, so I got a lot of different types of reviews from different viewpoints. Also, my name, Dan Skip Allen, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Blue Sky, Letterboxd. So I'm all over social media.
He has more than I do. I don't even know what Blue Sky is. Well, you can always find me every Wednesday night when I do the AEW Dynamite review show with my co-hosts, Cactus Katie and the Sheriff. But listen, guys, we have lots and lots of other shows that you can also partake in or watch. All week long, we have a public of a. Am I saying that right? Public.
A
What do you
list.
call it?
A
Is
list.
Is it? Okay, excuse me. List of shows all week long. Starting with Monday, you have the NXT. Or I'm sorry, Monday with the Radar Monday Night Review show with Big Daddy Cool and the executive consultant. And then on Tuesdays, you have NXT review show with Matt Mad Dog Kelly, the Grand Slam Puma, and oh God, why am I drawing a blank here? And it's so hard to remember all these names. The Wrestling Doll, excuse me, the Wrestling Doll. Wednesday night is as AEW, and then we have Friday night is Friday Night SmackDown with Zia Silent. So there's a ton of shows. I did a show yesterday for AEW Wrestle Dream prediction show. So there's always something to watch. It's entertainment side or wrestling side. There is something for you. So stick around. Go to our Instagram. We have a Twitter, or excuse me, X, Instagram, Facebook. Follow us on there. We always list what's going on, any new shows, and stay tuned. And hey, Skip, did you know that we have a cruise coming up?
No, I did not know that.
We have a wrestling cruise coming up April 17th to 20th. It's for WrestleMania. It is the Margaritaville at Sea. And if you want to join the cruise with us and sail the seven seas and also watch WrestleMania with the UPR crew, make sure you to reach out to any host here on UPR, and we can give you any information about it, what it costs, and all the details. And make sure you stick with us on all the platforms. All new information is always dropping anytime soon. But I also have a short video if you want to watch it. That's right. Make sure you join us April 17th to the 20th. We're doing a Margaritaville at Sea cruise. Check us out. We're doing big things here at UPR. Always stick around with us. But until next Saturday, I'm your host, venomous Vincent, alongside my buddy Skip Dan Allen, and we'll see you guys at the movies. Good night, everybody.